to Bad Larry.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Bad Larry Kingdom. I'm your host, Bad Larry, and today we're reviewing X-Men number 6. This just came out this week. I'm very excited to review this issue, but first we gotta rate that cover. Let's go. The cover artist, Ryan Stegman, is not the internal artist of the issue. If you know anything about me and what I prefer, I like the internal artist to also be the cover artist. I feel like it's a cop-out when you have the internal artist maybe not as good or better. There's not the consistency. So when you pick up the comic, you're looking for one style of art. You turn the page, you're like, what's this? It doesn't match up. Luckily, Nito Diaz's art is not that much different than Ryan Stegman. I would say it's not as good, but in the first 5 issues, the main artist has been Ryan Stegman. So for that reason, it gets a few points knocked off. Number 2, I like to see them feet. I'm not a feet fanatic. I just like the artist to draw them. I feel like in this particular cover, they are using the ice to cover all their feet. I feel like it is a total cop-out to hide the feet on this cover. Number 3, I think that the figures are drawn well. I love Magik. I love Temper. This new character in the middle is going to be the main focus of the issue, which is fine. But where are the other characters and the guns that are pointing at them? Well, that doesn't happen in this issue. So I feel like it was quickly done. They're trying to create some movement, trying to create an X with the legs, right? So Magik's left leg is crossing over Temper's right leg, making an X. I think that they thought that was cool. I just think it's a lazy style to try and create movement and use some art techniques to not draw the feet. The background is just computer generated, you could tell. So I don't think there was a lot of effort really put into it. So that's why I gave it a 73. I know it was a bit of a longer explanation on this cover than normal, but as we're getting past the number 5 mark, you really want these covers to draw the customer in more and more as the newness of this new series wanes more and more each comic. So each comic has to kind of almost be better than the last one once you get past that number 5 mark. So let's dive deep in and check this one out. One good thing about this issue is that if you picked it up brand new, you don't really need to have read the previous 5 issues. The main mission for this X-Men team led by Cyclops is to uncover and rescue New Mutants. And this issue revolves around that primary mission of finding a New Mutant and recovering them and giving them an opportunity to be safe. The human citizens of Merle, Alaska are protesting the very existence of the mutants now living and occupying the former factory that they worked in. So now you're seeing these people down there marching around saying no more mutants, and you see everybody's kind of in orange except one little girl, and she's got the little cap on and a little pink jacket. And we see Quentin Quire, Kid Omega, looking down. He's got a bit of a somber look on his face, and Temper's asking him, what he plans to do to these humans that are protesting outside their home. And you would think that he would do something. I mean, heck, if someone is gonna come on my property, I would want them to piss off. This kid's got a crazy, unpredictable temper. He's a super powerful telepath. He can tell him to go away, but he's just like, whatever, what's the point? And gives up. I feel like it's really out of his character to have done that. But hey, Jed McKay is the writer. I feel it's he could have made him do something. I think the point was out there in the outskirts of Alaska. It's cold. It's dark. It's dark all the time. They're living in this factory. There's nothing warm and cozy about their life right now, and it's a bit depressing. And this kid Omega is kind of forced to live here. He would rather live somewhere else, but he's kind of a pest. And at this point, this home that he's made with Cyclops as the leader is kind of the last ditch opportunity for him to have a life. So he's kind of stuck here with nowhere else to go. And as they're walking back inside, Temper looks down at the crowd and she sees that young girl looks like she's making a Spider-Man sign, but apparently that's a secret "I'm a mutant, come and help me" sign. Meanwhile, inside, Beast has gathered everybody around to give him a little what's up with what's up, and most everyone is pretty annoyed and bored to listen to Beast, but what he has to say is important. The 2 new mutants that they recovered that are adults, they were activated as adults, not with the mutant pathogen, so Beast has cleared that. There's some sort of virus, so there's no virus that they know of, but what he has found is that the group that they uncovered, 3K, are basically experimenting on these people, and they'll snatch people up, experiment on them, activate their mutant X gene, and then let them back out and see what happens. So it's a bit of catch and release and then monitoring them. So that's what Beast has uncovered. He doesn't know if they're getting better at this. They don't know. He doesn't know why in particular they're doing this. He just knows that this is the result, that humans are being turned into mutants by science. And when Magneto hears it, he kind of listens up to Zorn, and Zorn thinks that because Nova is part of this 3K group that's transforming the humans, that these new science mutants should be called Homo sapiens superior Nova. Well, I don't think Magneto likes that none too much. So Magneto slams his fist. "Oh, you better listen to me, I got my grumpy face on." So he's slamming him down. He's like, these new mutants, whether they're science mutants or born mutants, they're just going to be called mutants. Because to him, being a mutant is more than just his identity. It's his religion. So, just like if someone converted to being a Muslim or a Christian, didn't matter what you were before, now that you're in that new religion, that's what you are. It doesn't matter your background or your color or whatever. So to Magneto, it doesn't matter if you were born human or if you were transmogrified by science and became a mutant. As long as you're a mutant, to him, you're a mutant. So Ben Liu and the other lady with the fish head, her name's Miss Starkey, Jennifer. Well, Jennifer can't go back home because she looks like a green-haired fish lady. Ben, when he was all crazy, he basically ruined his life. So those two are going to stay at the factory until further notice. And over on the right-hand side, Magik basically asks Beast to just, do something scientific. And, I think this hurts Beast's confidence a bit, because he knows that there is a version of him that is way, 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 way smarter, and he knows that all of that potential is in him, and he just wishes that he had that knowledge now, and he just doesn't. He feels like he's letting the team down, which, I understand. When someone had gotten used to you being one way, and now you're not able to live up to that same expectation, That's got to be tough for Beast. So we saw in last episode that Magik is playing a game of chess with her brother Colossus via text message, move by move. So she gets a text message and has to go, and she's trying to keep it a secret, but Temper knows the deal. She knows that she's texting and playing chess with her brother, but she hasn't spilled Magik's secret. So in doing so, she's building rapport with Magik, letting her know that, hey, I know there's more going on with you than you're letting everybody else know, but I'm not going to tell everybody because we're cool. By the way, I need your help. Temper tells Magik that she saw the little girl outside making the "help me, I'm a mutant, come and save me" hand gesture, and Magik gets on the computer and is able to quickly track down who she is. Her name is Piper Cobb, which is interesting because I have relatives that are last name Cobb, which I think is pretty cool. And how did we get this information? Well, Cyclops is no idiot. He's been around the block, and he's a great leader. So he set up all of these cameras, and anybody who's come up to protest, anybody in the town, Cyclops already has all the dirt on these people. He knows all their names, what they do, where they work, what they like, what they eat for dinner. Cyclops knows everything about everybody. So Magik is able to pull up on the computer. The girl's name is Piper Cobb. Now, she has a problem. These two, Temper wants to go and use Magik to teleport her into Piper's house and bring her back to the X factory and basically save her. And Magik's like, is that a good idea? You know, we got two adults going and kind of kidnapping a kid. Is that going to be, looking good for the PR? You know, have you run this by Scott? And we also learn, which is interesting, is that to create the portals that Magik uses to teleport people away, you have to basically give something up. Because, Magik, she used to be able to dark magic, you have to give something up to get access to the portal, like paying a bus fare. And because this is Temper's mission, well, Temper's going to have to give up something, like a secret, in order to activate the portal. And what was that secret Temper had to give up? Well, when Cyclops and her were at the same age, apparently Temper had a little crush on Cyclops. Ooh. And here we see Piper is living with their mom, a single mom. And the mom is a bit neurotic about mutants. She watches a bunch of videos. She thinks that there's a mutant virus. She's real anti-mutant, of course. She's trying to do her best. She's out there and she's listening to the mainstream media, of course, lying to her about everything. While her kid is sitting there knowing that she's a mutant. She just has to listen to her mom trash on mutants all day, knowing that she's a mutant. And then all of a sudden, Mama getting a little sleepy. I'm getting a little sleep. I'm going to just go ahead and take a little nap here on the couch. Which is very odd. She turns her head. She's like, "What's that?" Well, we forget that Magik, Ilyana Rasputin, can also cast spells. She is literally called Magik. And so she casts a little sleeping spell, caused Piper's mom to take a little nap. And Temper and her are saying, "Hey, we saw your little signal. What's up? You need some help?" So these 2 pages are basically Jed MacKay breaking down the fact that previously in the Krakoan era, everybody was in an advanced state of being, in existence. Everything was advanced technologically. Their systems were perfect. So they were way ahead of the time in terms of society. And now that the Krakoan era is over, well, we're course correcting and overcorrecting, meaning we have to go way back and seem like you're behind society. So we see Cyclops sparring here with Psylocke, and the X-Men used to even have the Danger Room. They don't even have the Danger Room anymore. They just have to practice regular style, doing regular hand-to-hand combat training without the Danger Room. So it's really bare bones their existence, right? And that's why Beast is talking to Magneto, because he's talking about how he feels like he's bare bones mentally. He, everybody has this same feeling where they kind of know what they used to have, and they don't even have that anymore. So they're having to make do with less and try and survive and make their way in this new post-Krakoan era, with less intelligence, less technology, less tools at their disposal, all while still being hated by the mutant community. And we also learn in this scenario that Magneto looks like he has some sort of disease that Beast is looking to find a cure for. So I don't know much about that, but that's why I think Magneto is in this chair. He may have some disease that Beast has to try to find a cure for. And then Beast brings up a character that may be importance to them, that may help them out, Fabian Cortez. And Magneto says, no, let's not go there. Let's not uncover that stone. Let's leave that stone where it is. Piper here doesn't look like she's one of 3K's scientifically or genetically modified mutants. She looks like she's an organic, regular, homegrown, homebred mutant. But she does seem to be a bit young for her mutant powers to be developing. She looks like she's only about 7 or 8, maybe 9 at the most. Either way, I felt like she might be too young for her mutant powers to have started developing. Either way, she's telling Temper and Magik that she doesn't think that she's a mutant. She's fairly sure that she is a mutant. She's standing on business with that. And she's saying that because she's a mutant, she feels like she almost got the whole town murdered, referring to the Sentinel that is frozen in the town. She thinks that thing was coming after her. So now that Jennifer and Ben are going to be staying at the X Factory, Glob here is saying, hey, you guys got to think of some cool superhero names or some cool mutant names. And I like how Magik is like, oh, like Glob. And Glob says, oh, that's a cool name. Which, it's not a cool name, but that's his name. Anyhow, when Temper and Magik show up with this child, Scott is a little bit peeved. He's like, what the heck? I doubt that you got consent to bring this kid here. I mean, when mom wakes up, it's going to be hell to pay. Where's my kid? She's missing. And of course, the cops, they've already been there. They're going to come looking right at the factory. What is he going to tell the cops when they show up and there's like, hey, is Piper Cobb here? What is he going to say? It's messy. This is the one thing that I didn't like too much, is that Temper decided to go on this rescue mission herself, just her and Magik, without letting Scott know what she was planning. Scott's done this, Cyclops has done this 100 times. This is his primary mission, but still there's the right way to do it and the wrong way to do it. And, but either way, this is where we are. She's at the factory. Temper went and got her. It doesn't look like by force. And now Cyclops is going to have to make a decision. Is he going to let her stay there? What's going to happen with this kid, Piper Cobb? And we also don't know what her powers are. So this comic book is only 20 drawn pages. So I'm not including the cover or the intro page or the artist name page. I'm talking about 20 pages of the story. The comic book should be 22 pages at least. So with this page, this last page here of the Sentinel, I've already seen this in 2 other comics before. I feel it's a bit of a ripoff to not give me 22 pages, drawn pages, and to have this be a repetitive image um, in this issue number 6. And going back to the X Factor comic from the late 80s, by this time we've already been introduced to Apocalypse, to Frenzy, to Tower. Beast had already almost died. They had a mutant, and this guy wound up dying in that X Factor series. So I feel like this series is developing in a much slower pace in terms of the team isn't really fighting villains and being action packed. This is much more they're going through the mission. They're discovering mutants. They're trying to bring them back and save them. They're struggling just to survive. So this is a very uh, bare bones existence, and I think that this is why the development is a bit slower. I still quite enjoy the comic book. However, for the reasons that I've given before, only 20 pages and not 22, the last page being one I've already seen before, I rate this issue an 84%. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Until next time, be good to one another. Peace.